Good morning, friends. In the last lectures, we started worm gears, and in the worm gears, we studied. So, what type of the worm gears and what is the its gear ratio of the worm and the worm wheels. The axis means screw type of the shaft. This is called as the worm shaft, and one wheels, big wheels. So that is made from the phosphorus branch that is having its threads or its circulars means circular shape, and because of the rubbing sliding up of the worm shaft threads with the relative with the worm wheels, so because of the frictions occurs, and then so that's why due to the frictions the heat generations in the worm wheels that is more, and to dissipate that heat from the gearbox to the surroundings, the materials which is used for the worm wheels, that is phosphorus branch, and the load on the worm shaft is more, so that's why the materials which is used for the worm wheels worm shaft is that is hardened steels, and worm for the transfers of the heat from gearbox to means from system to the surroundings, means from gearbox to surroundings, we can use the phosphorus bond material, because phosphorus bond material is having strength and heat dissipations capacity also. So that's why material generally for worm wheels is phosphorus bronze, and material for the worm shaft that is the hardened steels. And in the terminology we studied, it's a helix angle, lead angle, etc. And one term that is remaining is the pressure angle. So pressure angles on the worm shaft, such type of the threads on the worm shaft. These are likewise, and this angle is generally 2/2. So these total angles are called as thread angle. This angle are called as thread angle, and pressure angles half of thread angle is known as pressure angle. So this is for understanding purpose I am writing half of the thread angle is known as pressure angles, and this is equal to half of 2. So this is equal to alpha. And definitions about the pressure angles: the tooth pressure angles, or this is given in the books, the tooth pressure angle is measured but this is thread angle. Likewise, Acme threads 29 etc. in a plane containing the axis of the worm, the axis of, this is the axis of the worm, axis of worm, and it is half of thread angle. The pressure angle should be not be less than 20 degree for single and double start worm. Worms means this is actually worm shaft, and 25 degree for triple and multi-start worm. So this precious angles is more than 25 degree, around 25 degree for triple and multi-start worms. The center distance between, otherwise we will see center distance is another terms. Center distance, such type of the worm wheel, and this is worm shaft. Now, so actually this is, so this distance are called as center distance, and this is D1 and this is D2. Center distance A equal to half of D1 plus D2. This is the P circle diameter of the worm shaft, and this is P circle diameter of the D1 is the pitch circle diameter of worm. Actually this is called shaft, and D2 P circle diameter of worm wheel. This is worm wheel and this is worm shaft. That's why same equations again we can elaborate for understanding purpose. A equal to half. Now D1 is the P circle diameter of the worms, so that is Q into M. This is quotient of the worm, and this is M multiplied by number of teeth of the worm wheels. So that's why you can take, this is M is the module, Q plus Z2. So Q is the quotient of worm shaft and Z2 is the number of teeth on worm wheel. M is the module in EMF. This is clear? Now, Another is the speed ratio. Speed ratio I equal to when worm shaft rotates one revolution. Then worm wheel rotates one thread revolution for single start, and worm shaft rotates two revolutions worm wheel rotates one thread advanced. And here see, if this is rotations double, only one teeth advanced, so that's why gear ratio equal or speed ratio equal to Z2 divided by Z1. This I equal to. So try to remember these relations. Now we'll see only important articles related with the worm wheels we are studying. Frictions in the worm wheel. Because of the thread up of the worm shaft, that is glide in the thread up of the worm wheels. So yes, because of the sliding up of the threads, heat generations. So that's why because of the frictions. So frictions in worm wheel. So as per the considerations about the frictions in worm wheel, selections about the material, that is phosphorus bronze. Suppose this is given in the figures actually. Actual length up of the worm shaft is greater than the length up of the or diameter of the worm wheel, but in the figures this is given, so that's why I explained. But length up of the, because both are intersecting, likewise if this is worm shaft, if this is worm shaft, so worm wheels likewise, so such type of the arrangements. So actual arrangement is such type, such type. So that's why the axis and this axis above the worm wheel both are, try to understand this, axis above the worm wheels both are intersecting. Suppose this is the axis above the worm shaft and this is axis above the worm wheel. Assume this is worm wheel and its axis likewise, means axis above the worm wheel and axis above the worm shaft both are perpendiculars. So this is axis of worm wheel and this is axis of worm shaft. So actually this axis means this axis is the worm shaft, and you can say this is axis of worm wheel. So that's why here's, suppose this V1 and this is V2 and this is angle gamma, this is gamma angle and this is Vs, where this is V2, where V1 is the pitch line velocity of the worm in meter per second, and V2 is the pitch line velocity of worm wheel again in meter per second. Because this worm's shaft glide thread above the worm wheels, so because of the that frictions, heat is generations, and that pitch line velocity V1's V2, so this is due to rubbing speeds. Since coefficient of frictions depends upon rubbing speed. So that's why Vs is the rubbing velocity in meter per second. V1 equal to, that you can calculate by using, because this worm shaft that is directly coupled with the motors. So that's why V1 equal to pi d1 N1 divided by 60 into 1000. So that's why this is in meter per second. Meter per second, and from velocity triangle, and this is velocity triangle, cos gamma equal to V1 adjacent side divided by diagonals Vs, or Vs equal to V1 divided by cos gamma. So that's why now put value of the V1s pi D1s N1 and divided by 60,000 into cos gamma. So this is rubbing velocity equal to. Rubbing velocity we can calculate by using formula Vs equal to pi d1 n1 60,000 divided by cos gamma. Now the efficiency of the worm gear can be calculated by using relations. Efficiency equal to power output, what you are getting and what we are spending, power input. This is equal to PT2. So this is the tangential force acting on the worm wheel multiplied by D by D2 divided by 2. So this is P circle diameter. This is tangential force multiplied by this is equal to, you can call as a torque, force multiplied by diameters multiplied by this is N2 divided by N1s, and this is tangential force. So this is RPM, this is RPM of the worm wheel, and this is RPM of the worm shaft. N1 is the, since N2 divided by N1, because this is more rotations, this is equal to 1 by I add D2 by 2 equal to M into Z2, and D1 divided by 2, this is Q into Z1. So that's why here's now this, by putting this relations, efficiency equal to PT2 into this ratio N2 by N1 divided by, so this is 1 divided by I PT1 multiplied by M Z2, this will get cancel. Now PT2, suppose this is worm shaft, for this worm shaft, otherwise This is worm shaft, because this worm shaft is small, and this is its a contact point, and this is, suppose this is rotate anti-clockwise, and this is axis A, axis of worm shaft. So that's why the force, this is a radial force PR1, and if this is rotate, this is PT1 tangential force acting, and this force is the P1A. This is the axial component. This is axial component. This is radial component, or you can say this is radial force, this is axial force, and this is tangential component. So that's why I require space. Now suppose this is worm wheel, so this is dotted line, and this is axis B. This is rotated anti-clockwise, this is rotate clockwise, because both are opposite. Sorry, this is also rotating. Now force acting here, this force is the, because this is opposite to P2A, P2A. So that's why yes, we can write, instead of the P2 to A equal to this is efficiency equal to I tan gamma, that is equal to, actually yes, Z2 D2 by D2 by 2 D1 by 2 equal to M Z2 Q Z1 equal to, because this is nothing but I, and M divided by Q is nothing but this is tan gamma. So this equation becomes PT2 PT1 into 1 divided by I multiplied by I divided by tan gamma. This will get cancelled, and this is what is remaining, PT1 into tan gamma. So that's why here's P1A equal to relations P1 T equal to cos alpha into cos gamma minus coefficient of the frictions multiplied by sin gamma divided by cos alpha sin gamma plus mu cos gamma. Now by putting this P1A equal to P2 once or PT 1, so this will cancel, or directly you can put yes P1A divided by P1 T equal to x tan gamma, or tan gamma equal to cos alpha cos gamma minus mu sin gamma divided by cos alpha sin gamma minus plus cos gamma. So here you can take common, and finally you will get efficiency equal to cos alpha minus mu tan gamma, or cos alpha plus mu cot gamma. This is efficiency equation. Efficiency of the worm wheels, and that you can calculate by using the formula mu equal to cos alpha minus mu tan gamma cos alpha plus mu cot gamma. So this is final relations for the calculations above the coefficient above the frictions. Here's the efficiency. Now explanations is required. Now the efficiency of spur and helical gear is about 98% to 99%, and efficiency of worm gear generally in between. So this is multiple choice questions may be asked. So what is the efficiency above the in between 50% to 98%. Efficiency is generally a reciprocal of gear ratio. Or speed ratio. Gear ratio, or you can call as a speed ratio, and you can call as a, if this coefficient above the, so this is equal to tan gamma. So this is the conditions of self-locking. So worm gears is the self-locking gears because power can be transferred from one shaft to the worm wheels, and power cannot transmit from worm shaft to the worm wheels or from worm wheel to worm shaft. Why this is? Because the coefficient of the frictions, this is always greater than the lead angle. So this coefficient of frictions is always greater than lead angle. So question may be asked why this is the conditions or which is the conditions above the self-locking in worm gears. So this is the conditions. Coefficient above the friction that should be greater than this is the angle above the lead angles. So this coefficient of the friction, this should be greater than the lead angle, means tan gamma values. So try to understand because this is important. Now we will study next article is the thermal considerations in worm wheel. First I explain so as you notes in the worm and worm means worm reductions gearbox. So here two important components that is worm shaft which is to be connected with the motors, worm wheels that is to be connected with the worm wheels is driving member and worm shaft is this is you can say this is driven and is driving of worm wheel, worm shaft driving up of the worm wheels. So this is coupled with motor. And this means worm shaft that is coupled with the motors and worm wheels that is coupled with the drive. So that may be drums which may be rotating, so which speed is very low, and the speed up of the worm shaft that is equal to the speed up of the this worm shaft equal to the speed up of the motor shaft, and this is the reductions if the gear ratio or velocity is 1:50. So if this rotations above the 1500, so that rotate 30 is the revolutions per minute above the worm wheels. So because of the gliding above the threads above the worm shaft and in the, so this is the because of the rubbing in the this contact is the point contact or line contact in spur gears and helical, but in this, so this is likewise rubbing. So because of the rubbing or sliding above the worm shaft, threads with the worm wheel threads. So because of the more amount of the heat generations, because of the sliding above the teeth above the worm shaft with the worm wheels. So that due to that sliding, here's due to sliding, frictions, converted in terms of heat, and that heat, so what may be the heat generated in the worm gearbox, that heat is to be dissipated from the system to the surroundings. So that's why heat generated amount of heat generated or equal to Hg into Hg equal to 1000 1 minus efficiency in kilowatt. This is first unit. So this is the amount of the heat generated. So Hg is a rate of heat generated, and kilowatt is the power transmitted by gear. And this heat which is generated in the gear, that heat is to be dissipated from the gearbox through the lubricating oils to the wall of the gearbox, and from the wall of the gearbox that heat is to be dissipated to the surroundings. So that's why yes, the heat is dissipated through the lubricating oil to the housing of the housing wall, and finally to the surroundings. So the rate of heat dissipated Hd by the housing wall to the surroundings equal to Ht equal to K into T minus T0 A. So K is the rate of the heat, rate of the coefficient of the heat transfer from the gearbox material to the surroundings materials. T is the temperatures above the oils, and TO0, this is the temperatures above the surroundings, and A is the area above the gearbox, or surface area above the gearbox. So that's why here's Hd, rate of heat dissipated, T equal to temperatures of lubricating oil, T0 temperatures of surrounding air of gearbox of worm reduction gearbox. A is the effective area of gearbox. So that's why here, so what may be the amount of the heat generated, so that is to be, so amount of the heat generated, so this should be actually less than the capacity of the heat dissipations, because amount of the heat generated, that should be low than the amount of the heat dissipations capacity of the gearbox. Otherwise what will happen, if this is Hg is greater than Hd, the amount of the heat generations that will greatest as compared to the amount of the heat dissipations capacity of the gears. So because of the accommodations of the heat, so because of the limitations of the transfer from gearbox to the surrounding materials, the temperatures of the lubricating oils which is used for the cooling purpose, so that will increase, and because of the increasing of the temperatures of the lubricating oils, the viscosity of the lubricating oils that may be that is decreasing, and because of the rising above the temperatures of the lubricating oils, and due to this seizure may be occurs. Seizure may be occurs means jamming up of the teeth of the worms shaft in the worm wheels, or the teeth of the worm wheels that may be damaged, because teeth of the worm wheels that is weaker as compared to the teeth of the worm shaft, and that's why design is generally that is based on the worm wheels. So that's why this condition is to be satisfied. Now Hg equal to 1001 minus efficiency equal to kilowatt equal to K T minus T0 into A. Or same equations can we write K divided by T minus T0 into A divided by 1001 minus efficiency. So this is equations. These equations, by using these equations we can calculate what is the power transmitting capacity of the gearbox. So according to that we can design the drives, because as per the considerations about the heat dissipations capacity. So this is the we can calculate by using these relations. Otherwise this is the T is the temperatures of the lubricating oils. This we will calculate by relations 1001 minus gamma into kilowatt into divided by K into A. So this first equation and this is second equation. So as per the limitations of the lubricating oils, you can calculate or the temperatures of the lubricating oils. So maximum temperatures of the lubricating oil you can calculate by using these equations. So generally, if the natural air circulations for natural air circulation, this K value of K is 12 to 18 watt per meter square degree centigrade, and if fan is fitted on the worm shaft for increasing of the of heat dissipations rate, then value of K is between 20 to 28 watt meter squares per degree Celsius. So this is the value, and you can miss this value. You can heat dissipations capacity of the gearbox, so you can increase. So by fitting of the fans on the worm shaft, because on the one sides here's motor can be coupled, and other side you can fit the cooling fans, means other ends. One end connected with the motor shaft and other end can be connected with the one fan. Likewise, the fans, cooling fans mounted on the shaft above the pumps, that may be water lifting pumps. Similar type of the arrangement we can make and in the worm gearbox, and you can rate increase the and heat dissipations capacity of the worm shaft, that you can increase by providing fins on the gearbox. So in generally all type of the gearbox, fins are required on the gearbox, that is for to increase the cooling rate of the wall of the gearbox, that is requires. Because as you know, the fins which is are provided on the gearbox of the motorcycles engines gearbox, that fins are provided, that aluminum fins to increase the surface area for heat dissipations from the system to the surrounding. So similar type of the arrangement we can make in the worm reductions gearbox also for the increasing of the, because always try to remember this heat generating capacity of the worms gearbox, that should be less than heat dissipations capacity of the worm gears. So that depends on the actually lubricating oil's viscosity or lubricating oil. So this is generally 30 to 120 centipoise. So this is the viscosity index 30 to 120. So here's this is capacity for these conditions. If the lubricating oil temperature is 30 to 120, this is the 18 watt per meter squares per degree centigrade. This is the capacity of the this is the wall capacity, surface effective surface above the capacity of the walls. So I think you can understand what is the importance of the thermal considerations in the worm and worm wheels or worm gearbox. What is importance? Why importance of the, what is the importance of the thermal considerations in the worm wheels, that is important. So such type of the questions may be asked during the examinations. So because why thermal considerations is important, because of the rubbing of or sliding frictions, more amount of the heat generated in the gearbox, and that heat is to be dissipated from the system to the surroundings. So that's why we requires the fins which is on the gearbox, the viscosity of the lubricating oil or the capacity of the lubricating oil, and the temperatures that should not be, the temperatures means these T temperatures, this should not increase 95 degrees centigrade. So this is the maximum temperature allowed. Temperatures in the worm reductions gearbox is the 95 degrees centigrade. If the temperature is increased, so because of the rubbings, so here's burning above the oils starts. Burning above the oils means smell comes from the lubricating oils because of the sliding, and after that, if the more generations means yes, 120 degree, 130 degree centigrade, it may be happens because of the more heat generations, burning means actually burning up of the oils maybe starts in the gearbox. But this burning means actually losing up of the viscosity, means water may be the viscosity, the property of the oils that is losing because of the sliding frictions. So because of the sliding frictions, that oil will burst and that becomes as a black oil and having burning smell type. So for avoid that, the capacity of the gearbox that should be increased. That depends on the its viscosity, the wall, the surface area of the walls, and materials for the phosphorus bronze materials, etc. Instead of the phosphorus bronze materials, you can use other materials, but that heat dissipation capacity that will decrease, because phosphorus bronze material is costly, but that is required to transfer some of the heat from system to the surrounding. So that's why, due to the limitations of the times, today I will stop here, and remaining portions, the what is the strength of the worm shaft and what is the strength of the worm wheels, and the relations or strength, how you can calculate the strength of the worm shaft and strength of the worm wheels, that is based on the fittings, that we will see in the next class, and the strength of the worm shaft and strength of the worm wheels, that is based on the wear considerations, that we will see in the next class. And problems related with the worms and worm wheels generally not asked during the examinations, so that's why I skip, and that is not mentioned in the syllabus also, numerical problems about the worm shaft. So that's why we will only take theory parts of the worm and worm wheels. So today I stop here and we will continue remaining portions of the worm and worm wheels in the next class. Thank you.